Although the Chris Craft was by no means the most expensive boat they could afford, pocket change to them, he was sure, Jack thought of how tight-fisted they were with their boys, Todd and Warren, and how readily they spent money on themselves. He asked if Warren would be joining them on the boat. Thelma frowned, openly displeased by the question.
"I told Warren to come along,"
Barrett said,
"but he's off with some of his cronies."
"Surprised to see you here, Jack," Thelma said. "You write for the society pages of the Express now?"
"Should be a nice night for a cruise. Almost a full moon," he said.
And as he walked away, added, under his breath,
"Perfect for lunatics like you, Thelma."
Going out for a pleasure cruise on a January night. That bitch was nuts. She was probably trying to irritate Lillian, who had once been a close friend, but now had little to do with her. Lillian wouldn't like Katie being pulled away from the party by the Duquesnes. Lillian had always opposed Katie's marriage to Todd Duquesne. She had made bigger plans for her daughter, and Jack supposed that after her falling out with Thelma all those years ago, the idea of Katie marrying Thelma's son had been a bitter pill to swallow. For once, Jack and Lillian were in agreement. Jack had never liked any of the Duquesnes, including Todd. The toad, as Jack thought of him. But Katie had rebelled. He knew she had since come to see her mistake, but so far she hadn't rectified it. Lillian hadn't chosen so well herself, Jack thought, watching as the family gathered for photos. Harold Linworth had little more than his wealth to recommend him. Maybe that had been enough for Lillian. At 40, Lillian was still a looker. But standing next to Katie, Jack smiled to himself. Katie was a little subdued tonight, but still she had that quality, a fire within that drew others to her warmth. Not all of Lily's beauty could match it. He watched as parents and in-laws stood next to Katie and Todd, the six of them smiling stiffly as a photographer went through the juggling act of focus, shoot, eject the used flashbulb, put a new one in, focus, shoot, and so on. Why wasn't Warren around? The Duquesne brothers were close. He glanced at Thelma and thought he had his answer. He was fairly sure all it would take to keep Warren away would be a demand by Thelma that he attend the party. There was the difference in the two boys. Todd acquiesced to their every demand, hoping to catch crumbs from their table. Warren rebelled. If that was what kept him away tonight, Jack had to admire him for it. What the hell was he doing here himself? But Jack had never been able to turn down Katie's requests. Her 21st birthday. Katie, an adult. What nonsense. She was already a wife and mother, yet to Jack, she was still a child herself. Her elegant appearance this evening hadn't changed his thoughts on that. All dressed up in a demure evening gown and long gloves, wearing the Vanderveer family diamonds at her neck. Her dark hair was pinned up in a sophisticated style, her brown eyes emphasized by carefully applied liner. The overall effect had been spoiled somewhat by the pug. Corrigan hated that damn dog, and seeing her holding it tonight angered him. Max, her 2-month-old son, left at home, attended to by some stranger, a hired nurse, but the dog in her arms. Maybe that was the sort of family life the Duquesnes might like, distanced from their children. But Jack hated to see Katie influenced by Todd in that way. When Katie greeted him, she leaned forward a little, and the dog squirmed awkwardly between them. She shook Jack's hand, saying, "What an unexpected pleasure." Her sardonic tone would lead any listener